Assalamu alaikum everyone, and I hope you guys are doing well. So I guess this is it as far as O-level math students are concerned. This is probably the last video related to O-level math that you guys are watching. I will obviously make a video after the exam, and inshallah on result day as well. But other than that, I think this is it. So I hope you guys benefited from all the live streams, all the videos that I made in the past, and I hope you guys feel like you're well prepared for tomorrow's exam. Even then, I'm sure there must be like a fear of the unknown. You might still be doubting yourself, or you might still want to do a bit more. That's completely natural. Don't worry about it. But at the same time, don't let that creep in too much and shake your confidence. All right, if you've worked hard, if you've done all the past papers, if you've taken all the notes, if you have if you've done everything that you possibly can, then the ball is not in your court anymore. Then it's in God's court. Let him take care of it, and inshallah, I'm sure that whatever he does, it'll be for your best. So just a couple of things that I want to say, other than just wishing you guys good luck, of course. As always, just pause this video, make sure that you have your stationery in order, your pencil, scale, razor, sharpener, calculator, what else, ruler, compass, and all of that. Just make sure that everything's in order. Make sure you have a fully functioning calculator. If you have a backup calculator, take that as well. But like I said earlier as well, that do not experiment. Okay, if you've been using a certain calculator, then stick to that. All right. Now, in between, I just want to say one thing, that if you're an AdMath student, then I understand today's paper was a bit shaky, and I've gotten a lot of messages asking my input and my feedback. So just hold on to that. I'll make a detailed video on it later. Right now, my entire focus is on O-level math students who have their paper 2 tomorrow. Okay, but if your exam, today's exam didn't go so well, God forbid, then don't worry about it. Don't let it compromise your performance tomorrow. Just tomorrow is a new day, tomorrow is a new exam, so just start fresh. Okay, and then secondly, stay away from too positive people and too negative people. There are some people who will be like, oh, what are you so scared of? It's going to be a piece of cake. I don't even need to revise or anything. It's pretty easy, and I've been getting full throughout, so I really don't need to study or anything. People who are just who are extremely positive. Just realized Batman fell off his Batmobile, but yeah, so you need to stay away from those people, number one. Number two, you also need to stay away from extremely negative people. People who are constantly trying to put you in self-doubt, trying to tell you that, the exam is going to be so hard. Or, did you attempt that paper? That paper was so difficult. What if the paper turns out to be one of those, or kind of like one of those? Then, stay away from those people. Just tell them politely that, this is not what I want to hear right now. Just let me be alone, and we'll speak after the exam. Okay. And then don't worry about what will come in the exam. Again, that's not something in your control. Stuff like threshold, the difficulty level, the topics that you're going to be tested on. Again, not in your control entirely. Yes, there are a few topics. Like I mentioned earlier, I made a video on it as well. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Just not a good time for you to be learning those topics from scratch. I'm sure that you will not be in a state where you have to learn those topics from scratch, but you can, just go over the notes of those topics a little bit more than you did a little bit more than the others. And then, as always, with math, it's very important that you get a good night's sleep. So just make sure that you wind up everything by 10 p.m. I'll try and post this video by 9 or 9:30 max. Just make sure that you're done with every bit of practice that you have to do by 10 p.m. And at this point, if you're practicing, if after that, let's say you can't sleep and you still feel like, I might as well practice a bit more, then don't. Just do some light preparation. Go over your notes, go over the questions that you solved, and more importantly, go over the questions that you got wrong. Okay, that doesn't mean that you resolve them. Just go over the errors that you made, and be conscious of it. Make a mental note of it so that you don't end up repeating the same errors tomorrow. Okay, and make sure that you reset your calculator, especially AdMath students, or in fact all kinds of students. Just make sure that you reset your calculator before you start. Make sure that you read the question carefully. Question will always mention something important in bold letters, so make sure that you make a mental note of that. How sometimes you're given time in hours, but you have to give your answer in minutes, and same goes for lengths. So just be extremely vigilant while solving the paper, and don't lose your focus. Very, very important. Irrespective of what's happening around you, just do not lose your focus. for as long as you're in the middle of a question. Once you're done with the question, then yes, you can look around, maybe stretch a little, drink some water if you have to. But while being in the middle of the question, do not lose your focus, because then you lose your chain of thoughts, and then you'll have to start from the very beginning to recall what it is that you had done, and then pick it up from there. So while you're in the middle of a question, do not lose focus. Now let me tell you, paper 2 is a lengthy paper. Okay, so you have questions which are very, that require a detailed working. So you have to, everything is just so connected that you can't afford to lose your focus. So don't take this lightly. Make sure that you have 100% concentration when you're solving a specific question. Okay, then plan your answer. Again, very important. So if it's a detailed mensuration question, or maybe it's a detailed trigonometry question where you're asked to find an angle, so just just plan it out in a way that, okay, if I need to find out this angle, then that means I need these two lengths. So if do I have these two lengths? No, I don't. So how can I find out these two lengths? What theorem, what rule do I have to use? So this way you'll be able to set up new objectives for yourself, and these objectives will then eventually get you to the final answer. Okay, and then make sure to check your answer as you go along. Do not think that you will, I mean, if you do have time at the end, that's great, but usually students don't have time at the end to check their answer. So just check your answer, check your working, actually check your working as you go along, and whatever it is that you can check using your calculator, go right ahead, but do show the working. So for example, simultaneous you can check using your calculator, make sure that you show the working. Quadratic equations you can check using your calculator, but again, make sure that you show your working. Do not just solve it entirely on the calculator and expect to get full marks. That's not going to happen. I've mentioned every time I made a calculator trick video or anything of that sort, remember, I categorically mentioned that you have to show the working as well. And make sure to watch the calculator tricks as well, simultaneous, quadratics, time related questions, standard form related questions that you can do in your calculator. That is something that will inshallah definitely come in handy tomorrow. Okay, and then just a couple of general things. And number one, that is, make sure that you solve your paper in pen. Do not solve your paper in pencil thinking that you will have enough time to pen it out at the end. No, do not do that. When you're making a graph or something, then use a pencil for that, whether it's a graphs of function question, whether it's a statistics question, whether you're making a cumulative frequency curve, histogram, bar chart, whatever it is that you're making, make sure that you use a pencil for that, because you don't want to mess it up. And because then you're only given a limited amount of space for that. So if you mess it up, then there's nothing you can do. Okay, so whatever it is that requires drawing, just use a pencil for that. And yeah, I guess that's it. That is exactly what I planned on saying. And once again, I hope every video, every live stream, every bit of notes that I shared helped you guys. And tomorrow is a big day for you guys, a big day in not just like academically, but even a big day in your life on a personal level as well. Math is a very important subject, and getting a good grade in math is something that will inshallah open a lot of doors for you. So yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video, I guess. I will see you guys in the next video tomorrow. Inshallah, I'll make a video asking you guys how the exam went. So that's it. Take care. Allah Hafiz.